Well, the clock has chimed on my end, so I think I will kick us off. Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Allison Reeve, and I'm a department chair at the University of Arizona Global Campus. I will be the host of this session, How the UAGC Center for Women's Leadership Promotes Belonging in an Asynchronous World. By joining us today, you acknowledge that this session is being recorded and will be shared with TLC-related materials. Microphones will be muted for this presentation, but we encourage you to post questions and comments in the chat. Also, we have enabled live transcription. If you would like to use it, click the Show Captions button at the bottom of your Zoom window. Now, I'm pleased to introduce you to the Forbes Center of Women's Leadership Advisory Board members. So we have Brandy Havens, who is an assistant professor of accounting. She is a certified public accountant and chartered global management accountant with experience in general accounting, SEC financial reporting, and Big Four public accounting. She has worked extensively as a technical writer and subject matter expert in the development of accounting and finance educational materials. Brandy has been developing and teaching online accounting courses for the past 18 years and enjoys the opportunity to support others as they pursue their goals. We also have Dr. Avisha Sadaginejad. I always tell myself to slow down when I say that one. I hope I didn't butcher it, Dr. Avisha. She's the program chair and professor for the Bachelor of Arts in Marketing program. She holds a doctorate in business administration with a focus on marketing, an MBA, a BS in mathematics, and has earned multiple certifications in digital marketing. With extensive global industry experience, including brand management for major companies like Nestle, she has developed strategic marketing plans and pioneered customer advocacy programs. At UAGC, she has led the development of marketing programs and has been recognized for her award-winning course designs. A published author, Dr. Avisha continues to contribute valuable insights through her articles and book chapters. Next is Lisa Sims, who is an assistant professor in the Bachelor of Arts Business Information Systems program and the Web and Mobile App Technology emphasis. She has both a master's and a bachelor's in computer information systems. She is a published author of 8 books. She worked in the information technology industry for over 20 years in various industries and roles and previously owned her own IT consulting small business and brings that experience to her work in education. And rounding out the mix, we have Dr. Heald Fisher, who is a program chair and associate professor of the Masters of Arts and Bachelors of Arts Organizational Management programs. She holds a PhD in Organization and Management and an MBA and a BA in Business Management. She has presented at several conferences, and prior to her teaching career, she worked for many years in several different industries and was a small business owner. And also, we wanted to acknowledge 2 more members of the advisory board who are not presenting, but are here either in the audience or in spirit, and that's Dr. Charlie Minnick and Dr. Egypt Grandinson. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to this amazing team.
Thank you, Allie. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Stephanie Heald Fisher, and as Allie mentioned, I'm with the UAGC Center for Women's Leadership Advisory Board, and we would like to share with you how belonging to a professional organization online can enhance your feeling of belonging in higher education. A professional organization it's a group of people who have the same interests, and they can be all kinds of different interests like career fields, industries, similar roles in an organization, or public service of some kind. And when we connect with others who have similar interests, we get to feel that sense of belonging. So before we get too far started on our presentation, we'd like to do a poll. So next slide. And if we could bring up a poll, and if you could just share with us if you belong to an online organization. Okay, it looks like we have about 70%. Give everybody just another second or two. All right. So it looks like we have a fair amount of people that belong to a professional online organization membership. So next slide, please. UAGC Forbes School of Business and Technology's Center for Women's Leadership, or CWL, is a professional organization. Our connection with our members is done virtually, so that makes us an online professional organization. We don't have a home office. We don't have a physical space. Professional organizations help members to advance their careers and develop or grow skills. Our vision at the CWL is to advance awareness, appreciation, and recognition of women's leadership within our community. We are dedicated to raising awareness of the essential role women play in leadership, promoting gender equity, and fostering an inclusive environment that encourages and celebrates women's leadership contributions, all of which helps to create a sense of belonging in women and men who are our members. So next slide, please. We have a list of a number of benefits from belonging to an organization that you can get. And we would like for you in the audience to share with us the top 3 benefits that you feel you've received from belonging to your professional organization. So if we could open that poll. Go ahead and pick, the top up to 3 that you feel benefits you get from participating in a professional online organization. All right. So here are the results, and we can see a sense of community is right up there. It's got the most votes. We also see networking was the 100% vote. And we do see that a sense of belonging is on the list of, the benefits that people feel they have received from belonging to the online professional organization. So as we've mentioned, belonging to a professional organization provides all of these things. Plus, networking was the #1 benefit that people chose, and it's absolutely an opportunity for that. And when we network, we can develop that sense of belonging. It also gives us an opportunity for career development. And according to Soito and Jankowski, online organizations build community and connection, just as organizations with a physical space do. So having that physical space isn't necessarily what drives that sense of community and the ability to network and feel like you belong. It's the actual interactions with the members, your fellow members of your organization. So one of the things that we do to help engage with our members is to hold webinars. And over the years, we've held numerous webinars on specific topics and skills that we feel offer the opportunities that we've been talking about that you can get from belonging to a professional organization. These webinars are ways to learn new skills, make new connections, and to grow your network. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Lisa Sims, who will review our most recent webinars.
Thank you, Stephanie. Hello, everyone. I am going to give you some of the key takeaways from the events that we have had thus far. In February, we relaunched the CWL with the Thriving Minds, Nurturing Wellness, Inner Motivation, and Achieving Goals webinar that was hosted by our very own Egypt Grandison. And some of the key takeaways from that particular webinar was on holistic well-being. As women, we understand the importance of making sure that we are well. We are there for everyone else, but we have to make sure that we are well ourselves. And our presenters did an excellent job as to giving us strategies and techniques on how we can actually work on our holistic well-being. And they also addressed unlocking inner motivation. And we know sometimes we all need that inner motivation. Sometimes as hard as we try, you just need that little push to say, hey, keep going, you can do it. And they unlock some of those insights as well. And as well with strategic goal setting, it goes hand in hand with inner motivation. How are you going to stay on track to accomplish the goals that you have set for yourself? And we talked about goal setting techniques and ways to make sure that you remain focused on setting your goals, whether they are personal or professional. And also, we talked about building a success-oriented culture. What does that look like? Understanding how that works with promoting your mental well-being and motivation and works with goal setting. And so with this particular event, we kicked it off very well, and there was a lot of gems that were gained from this particular webinar. And I hope you were able to attend to actually see what was going on. Next slide, please. And in July, we had another informative webinar on using technology to rebound from rejection in your career search. And I was the host for this event, and it was a very engaging webinar. We had our 3 panelists, and we talked on subjects such as how do you bridge the skill gap? What do you need to do in order to get your skills to the level that they need to be if you are lacking in certain areas? We also addressed using AI tools. Since AI is one of those trending topics, we made sure that our audience knew what some of those particular popular tools were so that they could use those to their advantage. And we also talked about the current trending technologies in your job search, such as using JobScan and other tools that can help in the job search. And we couldn't leave out LinkedIn. We know that LinkedIn is a valuable tool for not only networking, but also making yourself presentable and so that people can find you. And so we talked about how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile. And then we also dealt with the topic of dealing with the challenges that come along with the job search, how to not personalize rejection. And also we addressed military spouses and some of the challenges that they also face in their job search when they have to move because one spouse has a different assignment. So we really brought home some of the topics that a lot of our attendees are dealing with in today's challenging job market. Next slide, please. And now I'm going to share a snippet from our July event, just so you can get an idea of what the event was like. Let's go ahead and jump into our first question. And so if you are like any of us and you've spent any amount of time on social media, such as LinkedIn, you have seen where job seekers have voiced their concerns about being able to find jobs. They've encountered ghosting. They've had to do multiple rounds of interviews, assessments, all types of things, only to be met with rejections. And some of them, once they apply to jobs that they've seen, they are automatically rejected. So our first question is going to be, why is it important to not personalize rejection during your career search? And what tips do you have for not personalize it? Robin, we're going to start with you.
Great. So hello everyone. Everyone in their career is going to face rejection, whether or not that is you've applied for a job that you think you're perfect for and you didn't get the call, you've gone through an interview process and you didn't get the offer, and you've been in a job and you didn't get the promotion. That is a normal part of life and a normal part of a career process. Sometimes you're in the right place at the right time. Sometimes someone else is in the right place at the right time. It's not anything about you personally, your skills, your value, your abilities. So you have to keep in mind that there's a lot of variables at play behind the scenes. So you might go in for an interview and think you're really killing it, right? You've hit it out of the ballpark. That interview has gone extremely well. You've gone through 3 interviews, but you come to the end and you didn't get the job. And so you take it personally. What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Maybe you come to find out a couple of weeks later, they hired an internal candidate, or maybe they hired a friend of the CEO's kid who went to college, they went to college together. There are things that you can't control in your career, but the things that you can control in your career is your confidence level, your willingness and your ability to continue to learn and grow, and your ability to keep applying for jobs.
And that's just a snippet of our July event. And if you missed it, you missed the treat, but we are going to make it available to you. Next slide, please. And in October, we had Building Your Personal Branding Toolkit, which was a very interactive workshop where our attendees actually were able to work on their personal brand while they were attending the actual webinar. Some of the things that were touched upon: looking at your unique strengths. What makes you unique from others? How do you want others to perceive you? Crafting a powerful elevator pitch. Can you, on the drop of a dime, within 30 seconds, be able to tell someone about you and what you do and how you can be the aspirin to their pain? And also building a consistent online presence. How do you want to be remembered? How do you build that consistency? What tools can you use to be able to consistently help you post online to build your online presence? So this was an awesome webinar as well. And now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Avisha.
You're on mute, Avisha.
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you, Lisa, and hello, everyone. So far we learned about some of the things that is happening at CWL. It's a 100% online organization. And right now, I would like to focus a little bit on belonging, equity, and how CWL can promote belonging and equity among its members. So one of the advantages of online organizations like CWL is that these platforms can reach a global audience. And this will allow people from diverse geographical, socioeconomic, and cultural backgrounds to participate in workshops and trainings and webinars, and see a lot of good talks from global speakers. This expands access to information and, of course, resources, especially for individuals in underserved or remote areas. As an example, I put 3 past events of CWL that kind of, provided this accessibility and inclusivity for our members. So in the International Women's Day a few years ago, we had a panel of global women leaders. We had Madam President Dr. Amina Garib Fakim, who was the former president of Mauritius. We had the president of a Macedonian Chamber of Commerce. We had UN global leader. And we also had the founder and CEO of Women Empowered Global. All these women are so well known at the global level, and they brought us a wealth of knowledge and practical information in that webinar. We also had the fourth president and the first female president of the Republic of Croatia. As you can see, this is the flyer for that event. And that was a very interesting fireside chat that, that she was able to share lots of good information about the global leadership and the role of women in global leadership. And also, we had a very interesting session where two women leaders from UN Ops, which is the UN Office of Project Services, they talked about the role of UN and its partners in providing peace, security, and infrastructure to countries that needed that support. And as I said, these webinars, being part of these webinars in free, is just a great examples of accessibility and inclusivity that is provided to the members of such organizations like CWL. Another benefit that belonging and equity provides is the broader networking building. We saw that in our poll. Lots of you mentioned that you would like to be a member of an online organization because of that networking building opportunity. And we all admit that this is one of the greatest examples. One of the past events that we provided such networking building opportunity was in International Women's Day again, last year in March of 2023, we had several workshops and events, and one of them was a workshop again, inclusion and diversity. One of our guests was the inclusion and diversity thought leader and trainer. She talked about diversity and inclusion. We also had a session with Dr. Amra. She talked about building resilience to hate by storytelling, which was another interesting topic, and our audience loved that workshop. And we also had Laura Rivas, she is a director, she is a writer, and she's an executive producer. And she talked about the theme of our event, which was inclusion and diversity through the lens of writing and storytelling and making films. We also had a panel discussion with global women leaders from Lebanon, Ukraine, Trinidad and Tobago, Iran, and Zimbabwe. As you remember, last year and a few years ago, the war started, in different parts of the world. And these women who are, representing their country, they talked about war, inequality against women, fighting for equality and freedom by women. And that was a very interesting session, so that our members could learn more about what is happening in the local area. So these virtual platforms facilitate networking. We bring different leaders from the globe so that they can share their stories. And it enables participants to connect with them, to connect with a more diverse group of mentors and peers and role models. And it fosters collaborations that might not be possible in a more localized or traditional setting. Also, another advantages of belonging to an online organization is flexibility in learning and professional development, as we saw in the poll, and also reduce barriers to participation. So online organizations like CWL, which use an asynchronous format, allow users to access content at any time, And this make it easier for individuals with varying schedules, such as working women, caregivers, or those balancing multiple roles to engage in leadership development without having to sacrifice other responsibilities. And online environments also eliminate many physical and logistical barriers, such as travel costs, childcare, time constraints, and things like that that may prevent women and underrepresented group from accessing leadership opportunities in traditional settings. And as you can see, this is the landing page for our CWL website, which I encourage everyone to take a look at this website and become a member of CWL for free. And another advantage is that we can have webinars on a specific topic if we see a need among our members to learn, really deep about a subject. We can have a webinar on that. So, for example, we had a great webinar in technology where we had great speakers such as the Chief Communication Officer, former Chief of Communication Officer of Microsoft. We had the Human Resource Officer and Head of HR at XCOM, and two other amazing speakers who talked about technology and how women can be involved in more higher roles in organizations that involve technology. Lisa also mentioned that we recently had a workshop on building personal branding. And in that webinar, we helped the audience to create their own elevator pitch, to think about their personal strengths, think about their personal brand and how they want to present that brand in the online world, and to be consistent about that. And also, we had several resources that introduced those resources to audience to go and use that and enhance their LinkedIn profiles, their resume, their elevator pitch, and all that. And also, in February, as Lisa mentioned, we had a special session on wellness, because we felt that, work-life balance is very important, is more important than ever, especially for women leaders. And we need to learn more and learn about resources about, how to be more motivated and how to create more balance in our working life. So with that, I hand it over to Brandy to talk about a survey that we took a few years ago at CWL.
Thank you so much, Dr. Avisha. Yes, and if you want to transition to the next slide, that would be perfect. So when the CWL initially launched back in 2020, we knew that we wanted to better understand the challenges facing women and how we could help to support and address those challenges. Our extensive research revealed some stark, but perhaps not so surprising facts. Among Fortune 500 companies, women were significantly underrepresented at the executive and senior management levels. On average, women were paid less than men, even in the same positions, and the difference was even more pronounced among women of color. While women have been graduating from college at higher rates than men for decades, the pay gap actually increases for women at higher education levels. But interestingly, studies show that corporations with gender diversity in their executive leadership teams are more likely to experience profits that exceed the national industry average, which tells us that having more women in leadership positions isn't just the right thing to do, it is also the smart thing to do. So in studying and analyzing all of these facts, reports, and statistics, we quickly realized that we needed to get a better understanding of our constituents, the challenges they face, and how we could specifically support them. Next slide, please. All of this led to the development of the first CWL survey that we conducted in the summer of 2020. We received an overwhelming response. More than 1,000 women participated in this survey. And to give you a better idea of the demographic of our respondents, in terms of age, they ranged from the 20 to 25 age group to the 60 and up age group, with the bulk of respondents falling between the ages of 30 and 49. 68% of the respondents were employed full-time, with nearly 11% of those reporting that they held multiple jobs. More than 85% of respondents were students, either part-time or full-time at either the undergraduate or the graduate level. In terms of work experience, respondents were spread fairly evenly across the board to include entry-level, experience, mid-career, and advanced career. And interestingly, also more than 45% of respondents reported that they were the sole provider for their families. Next slide. So what did we learn from the survey? The survey revealed a few things. One, the most significant career obstacles faced by women include high levels of stress, lack of advancement, compensation issues, and inconsiderate or unsupportive managers. Next slide. The most cited strategies to address obstacles included working harder, sacrificing personal or family time, and engaging in professional development activities. Next slide. Respondents indicated that these strategies most often resulted in more work responsibilities, but also led to improved confidence and higher self-esteem. So these survey results have helped to inform and influence the events, workshops, and other resources that we've offered to our past and current CWL members. Next slide. Now, at the May 2023 graduation, we decided to get a unique perspective by focusing specifically on women who had successfully achieved a key academic milestone. So the CWL surveyed more than 100 women graduates of UAGC. They were asked the open-ended question: the key to my success has been blank. We received a wide variety of responses, but the top 4 answers included persistence, self-efficacy, and having a good support system. Understanding that success is largely driven by a person's ability to persist, believe in themselves, and surround themselves with a strong support system will help to inform our future projects, events, and other initiatives at the CWL, as we aim to ensure that all of our members feel a sense of support and a sense of belonging in the CWL, while also developing the confidence and skill sets they need to achieve their goals. Next slide. So this brings us back to one of the most central goals of the CWL, which is building and developing women leaders who can potentially play critical roles in building a sense of inclusion and belonging in their workplaces and organizations. So how do we get there? Well, ultimately, to cultivate a feeling of inclusion and belonging, we must first have equity, because it's equity that makes belonging possible. And recent history tells us that when people belong and have equitable opportunities, positive change follows. As of June of this year, only about 10% of Fortune 500 companies were led by women. But many of these women are making their mark not only from a business and financial perspective, but they're also making great strides in their organizations to improve equity, inclusion, and belonging. So we thought it might be interesting to look at just a few examples of these incredible women leaders and some of the things that they are doing. Mary Barra, she is the CEO of General Motors. She has exhibited a commitment to social responsibility and sustainability. And GM was one of only 2 global businesses with no gender pay gap. And that was back in 2018. So she has made some incredible things happen at GM. Gail Boudreaux, she is the CEO of Elevance Health. Under her leadership, the company has consistently been ranked as one of the best places to work by Fortune magazine. The company's also been recognized as a leader for gender diversity and balance in the workplace. Priscilla Almodovar, she's the CEO of Fannie Mae. She is a strong advocate for diversity and inclusion, specifically in the financial real estate sectors. She is the first woman and the first Latina to hold the CEO position at Fannie Mae, and she has made diversity and sustainability in the housing market a key focus of her leadership there. Corey Berry is the CEO of Best Buy. She's prioritized building a diverse workforce and announced in 2020 that Best Buy planned to fill a third of its corporate jobs with people of color by 2025. And she also plans for 1/3 of the company's full-time store-based positions to be filled by women. Safra Katz, she's the CEO of Oracle. Under her leadership, the company's been recognized for its commitment to diversity and inclusion. In 2023, they were named to Forbes' list of the best employers for women for the second year in a row. The company's also been recognized by Forbes as one of America's best employers for diversity. Vicki Hollub, she's the CEO of Occidental Petroleum. Hollub chairs the company's Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging Advisory Board. She's expressed a commitment to providing a safe and inclusive workplace for all employees. Ellen Cooper is the CEO of Lincoln National. She fosters a culture of engagement and inclusiveness. The company maintains a collective focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Cooper has noted that she understands the unique challenges for women in business and says that it's important that an organization's culture recognize that. Laura Prieskorn is the CEO of Jackson Financial. She's dedicated to building a culture of inclusion and corporate responsibility and is committed to empowering and supporting the career development and trajectory of women at the company. So, what these inspirational stories of success and commitment tell us is that we can have an exponential and cascading impact when women leaders are empowered to promote diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Here at the CWL, our hope is that we can continue to support our current and emerging women leaders as they develop the knowledge and skill sets to become champions of change and inclusion in their own organizations and communities. Next slide. We want to encourage everyone here to connect with the CWL. If you are a current UAGC student or alumni, you can connect with us through UAGC Connect, either by scanning the QR code there on your screen or locating us through the UAGC Connect website. If you are not a current student or alumni, no worries at all, because we are also on LinkedIn and we would love to connect with you there. So again, you can feel free to scan the QR code there on your screen, or you can look for us on LinkedIn. Now, we have saved some time at the end for audience questions. So feel free to jump in, guys. What questions do you have for us? Does this mean that we did such an amazing job? No one has any questions for us?
I'd be interested to know if some women feel like they need to be convinced that they're a leader enough that they could be involved in what you do. And I know the answer, but I'm thinking some people might be thinking, this sounds great, but I'm not necessarily a leader. So maybe your definition of leadership and how you embrace that within the CWL.
I would say absolutely, but Stephanie is our resident expert on leadership. I'm going to let Stephanie tackle that one.
Yeah, Allie, that's a great question. It brings to mind imposter syndrome, right? Because women, for whatever reasons, they don't believe that they're actually doing as well as they could. And there is research out there that shows that, women tend to underestimate their abilities and their skills. And one of the things we try to do is show them that they can promote those abilities and those skills, right? because our webinars bring, global and local and national leaders. We bring leaders from everywhere who are female, who are examples for our members to look at and say, hey, I can do that. And one of the things that I really liked about some of our recent webinars, like the one in October, we actually call it a workshop because our members walked away with an actual tool, branding kit. And I think sometimes having tools helps you understand your leadership strengths, right? It's like, this is something specific I can use. And they also help you, like with our July seminar, several of our audience members connected with the speakers. So, we had that sense of belonging. We had a definite networking going on there. They found a resource. The women found a resource to help them, and guide them into better showcasing their leadership. And I think as women get used to showcasing their leadership, they begin to believe more, kind of that fake it till you make it. But they're not really faking it. It's like fake it till you believe it kind of thing. Let's see. I see a question from Charlie. How males can best support the mission and vision of CWL? That's a great question as well. And I think it helps to attend some of our webinars so we get that other perspective. I think that's one of the things I've learned over my lifetime is the thing called worldview, right? I see the world one way and it's based on my experiences. And if we have the CWL only being supported by women, we are missing out on that male worldview. So I think by attending our webinars and, sharing your thoughts and opinions and, asking questions like, what might I specifically do? And exactly, Charlie. None of us is as smart as all of us. So I think that's probably one of the biggest ways you can do that. And I see Lisa has mentioned that she struggles with imposter syndrome, and it is difficult to navigate and find that confidence in your skills. And that's part of the reason behind the webinars and the things that we do. We want you to have physical evidence of your skills, because hopefully if you see them, you can believe in it. Some people say seeing is believing. So you probably have those skills and you probably have that leadership in you. It's just making it visible to yourself so that you can then make it visible to others. And a lot of times others see things you don't, which again is another way a man can support, the vision and the mission is like, show us what we're missing. What are we not seeing about ourselves? So.
I also want to add something to this great question that Charlie asked. So going back, I'm from Iran, and as you saw, in one of the global panels, we talked about, the fight and the objection that right now Iranian women are doing inside the country, and they are fighting for their freedom. So one thing that as an observer here and, what is happening in Iran, I can tell is that when male join females in their fight, the synergy, the energy is not doubled, it's multiple. So if you see as a male, there is a gender pay gap, if you see some inequality, if you see there are differences in treating women at work, at a school, in any places, just say something, just be an advocate for women. Don't leave them alone in fighting for their equality and equity and inclusion. You can definitely be very, very powerful in the support of women.
And just kind of building on Avisha's thought with that, I think when other men see men supporting us, it kind of like gives them either the idea to do so as well, or for lack of a better word, the permission, or that it's okay, that it doesn't take away from their maleness if they support women. So
I couldn't help but draw a connection between what you said about having women see what's inside them because the skills and the experiences are there. It's making it visible to them so that they can make it known to others with what we do with our students on a daily basis, making their skills that they're gaining in their coursework and their gen eds and their programmatic courses, um, relate that to actual skills in the workforce. It's within them, but they don't recognize it either. And what a great job you've all done to not just with our students to make their skills um, visible to themselves and to future employers, but to do that with, so many of the women at the university, men at the university. It's really a special thing. If people in the audience haven't been to a session before, I highly, highly recommend going, not just because it's a great way to fill your own cup when we do a lot of depletion of our own work and energy, but it's a really incredible network of people that you'll be involved with. I know you wouldn't give a shameless plug, so I gave it for all of you.
thank you, Allie. Yeah, I know. I mean, I personally struggled with imposter syndrome a lot in my life, especially in my younger years, and sometimes it's because I was told, no, you don't. You don't have that, or you can't do that, or I come from an era where women were told a lot of things that they can't do. And to, surround yourself with people who are telling you, yeah, you can. And in fact, you're probably already doing it. And that's why, again, with our webinars, one of the things we want is for people to take things away, either the vision of somebody who's doing the things they want to do and, is a great role model, or the support from the networking that they're getting by going to these webinars, both male and female support, or actual tools that make visible to them their skills and their qualities and their leadership. And not only do they have those things, but here's how you can apply those things. Here's how you can, really get others to see your leadership skills as well.
And if I could just
go ahead, Lisa.
If I can just add on to that, the webinars also encourage our attendees to think outside of the box. So many women tend to just kind of see themselves in the box that the world has kind of placed us in. And so with our webinars, these webinars help you to visualize yourself not being in a box. You can be whatever you want to be if you can see it and you can think it, you can believe it, you can achieve it. And so that's what our webinars are about. And so, I mean, as we said about imposter syndrome, we've all been there. But as you mature in life and you realize, hey, I'm no longer in a box. I really don't care what people think of me. I know what my abilities are. I know what I can do. Nothing can stop me, and I'm not going to let anybody stop me. So it's motivational as well. And sometimes we all just need that little motivational push to say, go girl, and keep going. And that's kind of what the belonging of the CWL is. It's a virtual, you go ahead, girl, and you do it. And men too.
Well, and Lisa, that's a good point, because a lot of what we share at the CWL is beneficial to men too. I mean, what man doesn't need to build their branding toolkit, right?
Right.
What man might want to have more skills in networking and using technology to promote their jobs and stuff. So, are there any other questions or topics you want to bring up in the audience?
I know we do have some students with us. Are students able to join the CWL?
Absolutely. In fact, we encourage it. That's why we're also on the UAGC Connect, because that's available to students too. So we would love to see students continue to join. I know we have a lot of students who have joined, but because the other thing is the CWL goes on beyond graduation, right? It can help you not only while you're in school, it can help you once you graduate, it can help you 10 years down the road, because we are always bringing forward topics that are timely. Like, what's the word, right? On the spot, what's the word? We're always bringing it up in the most current topics and subjects. And, our webinar this summer that went through LinkedIn, and the one in October where you're building your branding toolkit on social media, that wouldn't have happened 4 years ago, right? But we are on top of things. So we'd like for you to join and stay with us. Even once you graduate, join as a student, use the tools that we're offering, belong with us. And as Charlie mentioned, lifelong learning is important. So please don't feel like once you graduate, we're going to say goodbye. We're not.
And networking is always important. And that's what we do here as well. So it's not always about what you know, but who you know. And so if you can build your network, that is a valuable thing to have.
Well, if we don't have any more questions, I will go ahead and close us out. Thank you again to the Center for Women's Leadership, and thank you to the audience for your participation in today's session. Please use the survey linked in the chat, which I will hit send in 1 second, to nominate TLC presentations for conference awards and share your feedback on your conference experience. Thank you for joining us today.